What is the one thing our modern wellness culture tells us to avoid at all costs? I'm going to repeat that. I was waiting for the reset. The one thing our modern wellness culture tells us to avoid at all costs. What if I told you that for centuries the most advanced meditators on the planet were taught to do the exact opposite? Not to avoid it, but to seek it out, to sit with it through the night. Today, we're going to pull back the curtain on one of meditation's most radical and hidden practices, the graveyard meditation. Let's set the scene. It's midnight. You're not in a quiet room with candles. You're in charnel ground, a cremation site. The air is thick. The only light comes from the moon, casting long shadows. You can smell the remnants of ash and decay. This was not a punishment. This was the classroom. So just taking a moment here, can you even imagine the courage it would take to voluntarily go to such a place? To then take a seat and to close your eyes. So why? Why would any sane person do this? Our meditation apps promise to reduce our stress. This practice promised something else entirely: liberation. It was a direct, visceral assault on the deepest fears we have: the fear of death, the fear of the impure, the fear of the unknown. The goal was to sit there in the heart of what you were most afraid of and realize that you could still be, that your awareness could contain even that. This is the history that corporate mindfulness erased, because you can't sell a product that tells you to confront your demons. It's much easier to sell one that helps you temporarily ignore them. And it's easier to control a population that is trained to avoid discomfort rather than one that is practiced in facing it with fearless awareness. You don't have return customers if they're facing their demons. You don't have control if people are aware of what's happening. So this wasn't just ancient history. In our modern world, we have direct parallels. It's called exposure therapy. The exact same principle. Under guided, safe conditions, you confront the very thing that triggers your panic. Just as those who were sitting in charnel grounds were under guidance, they were experienced, we too are sitting with professionals. We are guided in safe conditions. Why? Why bother doing this? To teach your nervous system that it can survive the fear, that the fear itself is not fatal. The goal then, and the goal now, is the same: freedom through fearless awareness, not avoidance. I want to pose a question to you, and I want you to consider it. I don't want your first answer. I don't even want your third answer. I want you to just let this percolate through you as we go through this exercise. What does it say about our society that we have commercialized the avoidance part of this equation and we have buried the liberation part? Okay, now, with that wonderful question just percolating, We are obviously not going to charnel ground tonight. We can, however, still practice the principle. We can turn towards something difficult in our own minds, in our emotions, in our spirit, in our physical being. So let's take this from a fascinating history lesson to a personal experience. First, for those of you still with me, I want you to just notice how you're feeling after the discussion. Is there tension? Maybe you're a little curious. Is there a whole boatload of anxiety? Just notice without judgment. If nothing comes up, or if it feels too intense, that's perfectly fine. Your mind might offer you something very small, like the graveyard of a forgotten chore or a minor social awkwardness. That still counts. This is just practice. This is a safe space. Whatever comes up, that's perfectly fine. Now, I want you to bring to mind a thought or memory that feels a little bit dangerous to touch. Doesn't have to be huge, it could be a worry, a regret, a fear, just something you usually try to avoid. And instead of pushing it away, I want you to try a little bit different here. Imagine that you're a tantric practitioner, such as the ones that used to meditate in graveyards. You're not running, you're sitting down. See if you can just sit with this difficult feeling, memory, emotion, state of being for just a moment. Breathe. Don't try to solve it. Just let it be there. And notice that you are still here, aware of it. And on your next exhale, if I can get my teeth around that, gently let it go. Knowing it will be there if you need to visit it again, but that you're in charge of when you leave. This small act of turning inward instead of away is the heart of the practice. It's a rebellion against the narratives that tell us to just be positive and hide from the dark. Just keep moving forward. It will all work out. Sometimes, for it to work out, we need to take a peek at what's festering. Thank you for having the courage to explore it with me. I found this history fascinating, and I really love finding where meditation has been guiding us from the different practices that I hadn't heard about, that I hadn't heard anybody else sharing or discussing or bringing up. So I wanted to bring this because, like I say, I find it fascinating. I love to see how meditation has continued to guide us, the different practices, the way that it's used currently versus how it was implemented originally. And I'd like to leave you with the next time you feel the impulse to avoid something difficult, maybe you'll remember the practitioners in the graveyard. While not as extreme, reflecting on that myself. Maybe you'll have to just sit with it. Similar to the demon discussion we had previous. I don't remember how long ago it was now, but it's similar to that. It's engaging in conversation with your fear. Demons can be quote unquote demons can also be seen as an aspect of our fear. So, wanted to share this. I hope you found this helpful. Again, thank you for taking this quick journey with me, and see you next time.